Welcome back to the 5 W's, where we explain the who, what, where, when, and why of that particular piece of media. Today we'll be covering Capcom's other zombie franchise, Dead Rising. Ooh. In this comical zombie survival game released in August of 2006, we play as the one and only Frank West, a freelance photojournalist on the search for his next big story as his career starts to fizzle out. His past isn't well known to the player, but there is one thing we do know: he has covered wars. So a mystery scoop about a small town in Colorado should be a piece of cake. Frank is just your average Joe, albeit a bit of a loose cannon. His morals are mostly good, acting on instinct and wanting to help people while still chasing his ultimate goal, the truth. The game is filled with many varying characters, survivors, psychos, some that are even a bit of both. It's a zombie outbreak. People may go a little crazy in desperation for survival. Frank's biggest allies in this endeavor are DHS agents Brad Garrison and Jesse McCarney, the head of the maintenance for the mall Otis Washington, and Isabella Keys. At the start of the game, we meet a few other key players in the mall: Carlito Keys, who is the older brother of Isabella, and Dr. Russell Barnaby. We can't forget about the most important character though, Ed De La Luca, the helicopter pilot. Without him, we wouldn't have the game. He's a real one, that Ed. What? The main premise of the game is to survive in a zombie-infested mall by whatever means the player sees fit. You're allowed to say, screw it, and just do your thing, losing out on the scoop of a lifetime and surviving for 72 hours until Ed comes back for you in the helicopter. There are countless things to do in the mall until then. Flex your photojournalistic skills, go shopping, read a good book, and of course, fight off the countless zombies while saving as many people as possible. Or don't. Zombies aren't the only ones standing in the way, of course. The pressure of this place creates a multitude of psychos for Frank to deal with as well, each one being truly unique. You learn about the happenings in the mall thanks to good old Otis through a radio he gives you early in the game. Doing all of these makes Frank stronger, faster, smarter, essentially turning him into the apex zombie killer. However, if you are as hungry for truth as Frank is, the story behind this incident lies with one Carlito Keys. When? Lucky for us, the time frame for Dead Rising is constantly being shown to the player. This all takes place starting on September 19th of 2006. Depending on how the player goes through the game, it ends on September 22nd of the same year. The goal is to survive the 3 days in the mall before Ed comes back for you. That could be extended with the correct ending. Another important date in the game revolves around the Santa Cabeza incident, which took place in the 90s. Where? Located in the United States, Willamette, Colorado has a population of 53,594 residents, making it a pretty average Midwestern town with schools, businesses, and all the essentials. Its greatest attraction, of course, is Willamette Parkview Mall, that opened in the early 80s and houses nearly 80 stores. The mall itself is divided into 8 separate areas. We have the Entrance Plaza, Paradise Plaza, North Plaza, Wonderland Plaza, the Food Court, Alfresco Plaza, Leisure Park, and the maintenance tunnels. Once again, another key location that's in the game but we never visit is Santa Cabeza. This town is well hidden by the American government at this point. Not much is known about it, but it is somewhere in South America, more than likely in Peru. It had a great environment with enough seclusion that the American government had chosen it for a top secret project. Why? How exactly did Frank get this information? It's theorized that one of the characters we meet early on sent out word to whoever would listen in hopes of getting attention drawn to what is really going on here. This person being Carlito Keys. Santa Cabeza was home to him and Isabella while they were younger. The American government chose this beautiful location to start work on a project that would ideally double the cattle meat production that flows through the US. This project was led by Dr. Barnaby. During his research, the team has found an insect along the Potomac River that resembled oversized wasps. They eventually coined the term queens for these insects and tried to use the venom they secreted to stimulate cattle appetites and produce much larger cows. This only led to creating zombie cows, however, and dealing with this allowed some queens to escape and start infecting the nearby town of Santa Cabeza. In attempts to cover everything up, the US government went full umbrella mode and sent out a team to eliminate all undead and living residents of Santa Cabeza. The only survivors of these events are the brother and sister duo, Carlito and Isabella. When Frank lands on the helipad, Carlito makes some interesting remarks about the situation.
You're the reporter, aren't you?
Yeah, no.
You came alone.
Making your way through the scoops and the horror of this outbreak, you find out that Carlito was actually the one that caused this event. His hatred towards the US government and what they did to him, his home and his family made the desire for revenge fester inside of him. He wanted everything to be brought to light, which is why he's the one that sent out info to whoever he could. He did not stop there though. He went on to infect 50 refugee children with the same zombie virus, these children being sent out all over the United States. Luckily, Isabella sees the error of his ways and decides to help Frank after he loses all hope and collapses on the helipad. She worked with Carlito for a long time, so she has her fair share of dealing with the queens, and even knows how to make the suppressant for the virus, the same one that Carlito gave to the 50 children, making them zombie time bombs. All those bites that Frank received but doesn't remember finally hit, and they need to work together to get out of the mall and show the world what's going on. With the same military team coming in once again to stomp out all evidence of what happened, Frank and Isabella do what they must to survive.